What's up, everybody? I had to reset my camera and it wasn't working right, but I wanted to do like a live about Shaniqua, 50 Cent's baby mama. I wanted to do a live about it because I think I missed a lot of different points in it. It was about 50 minutes. So, as you guys know, I had posted the full video yesterday. So, if you don't want my commentary, watch the video from yesterday. But we're going to go ahead and do a review and commentary on this live that she did on IG. She plans on going live every day. I'm trying to confirm like what time she's going live, but she basically exposing it all. And she's talking about 50 Cent. So we're going to get right into it. Let's go ahead and play the intro. Let more people come in the room. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, y'all. What's up, everybody? It's your boy AT2, and welcome to a brand new episode of Talk the Real Deal with AT2. And yes, I'm your boy AT2. How everybody doing? How everybody living? How everybody feeling? Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. So as you guys know, for the precursor, I did say that this is Shaniqua Tompkins. She is 50 Cent's first baby mama. You know, Marquise, who he doesn't talk to. Yeah, that's his mama right there. And she is exposing everything. And I want to say something too. So she clarifies at the end, and we'll get to it, but there's no NDA. She didn't sign an NDA, but there's some kind of gag order because something about she signed over her rights to her story. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but she talks about Daphne. She teases the reason why 50 Cent and Diddy have a bad relationship, why they have beef, but she alludes to Diddy wasn't the only person sleeping with baby mamas. 50 slept with Diddy's baby mama. Now, she doesn't say who, but she basically eliminates the people, possibly who it is. So let's go ahead and get into it. And then, enjoy the show. Let's start.
I forgot where I was at. So that's how it came about. The Queen from Philippines comment. We all know the Diddy trial is going on, and we all know my son's father is not happy with it. Like, he's not happy. But what Daphne is doing is indicative to her character. It was so it's been rumored and known for years that she has been a cold girl from Vegas. Like that's known. That's known. And he knew that when he beat her up in California, which he seems like that's just so buried how he beat her up. It was a domestic violence case in California. The California Clerk's office tried to contact me. Hey, y'all, tried to contact me to testify in that case. They contacted my child support attorneys for me to question me and to testify in Daphne Joy's domestic violence case, which I declined.
So I want to say something about that. So remember, Daphne had filed a lawsuit against 50 Cent saying that he R-worded her and that she was abused. Now I was trying to watch my words for the algorithm, but I already said the word. So they had contacted Shaniqua to testify because she'd been through a similar situation, which she'll get into a little bit later. But Daphne ended dropping her lawsuit, but I know 50 Cent did a counterclaim, and that's with the whole not child support, but custody battle. So they're wrapped up in that right now. So again, she's just kind of going the history, but it makes sense that Daphne was a pole girl because whenever I hear girls say, "Oh, I'm a model," I don't think I think that whole high fashion model thing, I think that got thrown out the window. When I think of model, I'm thinking of like, oh, you might do suggestive photos or nudes or something like that. Like, I'm not thinking like high fashion model when I hear the word model. So pole girl, that makes sense. I believe her.
I declined. Which I declined.
What made you decline?
YouTube be hating.
I'm I'm a mother first and I'm a woman, but she, during the duration of the relationship with her and 50, she gave me so much shade and she was trolling me along with him. Like she thought she was superior. She thought her and her child were going to be superior to Marquise and I. So I said, I'll sit this one out.
But did she ever come at you and like troll you in any kind of way?
Yeah, she always the subliminals all the time. Absolutely. I can't remember. I would have to go back. I snapshot and I save everything. But it used to be on Twitter all the time. She would just throw the subs. So, and I could understand it because it's like, I left him. I don't want him. I don't communicate with him often. So I could not understand why she was upset about you have him. So you have a child by him. So I'm not in the scenario, so I can understand.
Now, a lot of people were upset during the Diddy trial when Shaniqua had posted, I'm from Queens. She said, I don't sell cat. I'm from Queens, not the Philippines. A lot of people are all like, oh, why are you throwing shade to her? Blah, blah, blah. So they actually do have a history with each other.
So how old around what year was that though that this took place? Because I think the child, how old is
I think it was about maybe 2008, 2011, because at the time before he got with her, he was with Ciara. So he left Ciara to be with her, to be with Daphne, which I couldn't understand because Marquise loved Ciara. His family adored Ciara, and he left Ciara to be with Daphne.
You said about 2008, 2009.
No, yeah, maybe him and Ciara probably maybe 2010. I'm not sure, but I know he was with the girl Daphne maybe like 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. But he's
how old is Saya now?
I don't know. I would have to Google it. I don't know. I just know that him and I, he's a Virgo. I do know that. Like him and I, like days apart and birthday, but I don't know how old he is.
So we're learning that he left because remember he was in a relationship with Ciara. Well, here's something that y'all don't know. Allegedly, he was with Vivica. Vivica was cool with Ciara, and then Ciara ended up dating 50 Cent. And now we're learning that after Ciara, during, he basically left Ciara for Daphne. So it's crazy how that happened, but very interesting. I guess the timeline would add up to where we knew Ciara and 50 Cent were dating, and then I got to see how old Sayer is. How old is his youngest son? Because, yeah, there probably was some overlap in there, too.
I have no clue. I'm guessing maybe 10, 11, maybe. I don't know.
So for Marquise is what, 29, 28? How was Marquise?
28.
So they're about 16 years difference? 17?
Yeah, probably more than that. Over 10 years. But Floyd was dating Miss Jackson at the time, and he hooked Boo up with Daphne.
Oh.
I guess Floyd got the last laugh because he said, I told you not to have no baby by. And we all see, if you go to Floyd's page now, which.
And by the way, Boo Boo is 50 Cent. She don't call him by his name. She says Boo Boo. So we're learning that it was Floyd, because remember, Floyd and 50 used to be friends. Floyd hooked him up with Daphne. And you know, Floyd is in Vegas. Y'all know who Floyd Money Mayweather is.
We all know Floyd is his best friend, or was his best friend. On his page now, Floyd has a post saying to Boo Boo, and the first line he says in that post, you're just mad because Marquise's mother don't want to be with you. And I'm assuming we all know if you have a best friend, your best friend knows all your secrets and who you care about. And that's what Floyd said first line out the gate.
Wow.
So to bring on Floyd, what was the fallout between Floyd and his son's father about?
50 wanted to try to get into the boxing business. So as I don't know if everyone knows, like I was very close with Floyd's children's mother, Josie Harris. God bless her dead. I love Josie. Sweet front, just all around great.
The one that passed away.
I just wanted to say that. Floyd, Boo Boo wanted to get into the boxing business. And Floyd is like, no, we're friends. Like you have your business, I have my business, but he wanted to get into the boxing business. So he thought he was gonna Josie told me he went to Floyd's parents. Like if he was asking for a hand in marriage, you know how you go to a girl's parents ask for a hand in marriage. So he was like, I just want to have your blessings. I want to get into business with Floyd. And Floyd was like, no, he wanted to just be friends, and that's what Boo Boo would say. Boo Boo would say, oh, you know, Floyd want to be he would tell me Floyd want to prick fingers and be blood brothers, like because he wasn't genuine in a friendship. So which is typical of him. Like, he's not genuine in any relationship. As we can see, he can't maintain a personal relationship with anyone. So
So basically what she alluding to is that the breakup of their friendship was because 50 wanted to get into boxing. I don't think he wanted to be a boxer. I think she meant like as far as doing promotion and stuff like that, right? So basically what she's alluding to is that everybody that 50 uses, it's like to get an advantage or get ahead or kind of get into what they're doing, like because the way he treats G Unit, you know, Lloyd Banks, what's his name? Shorty wanna Young Buck, Yayo seemed like that's his only like true friend out that whole crew. But with the other two, it seemed that once he was done, he just basically disposed of them. And so he does seem like that kind of person. Like when he done with you, like, oh yeah, I don't need you anymore. Get out of here.
he was upset by it, and that's how the beef started because Floyd wanted to keep it his friend,
Much like
his
Diddy.
business separate.
Totally understand. But I see that you calling him Boo Boo. Some people don't know why you calling him Boo Boo. So you want to tell them why you calling him Boo Boo?
It's not a pet name. So it's not a pet name. That was his name from around the area in Queens. And so it's not a pet name. So it's not like, oh, my Boo Boo. No, that's what people call him, Boo or Boo Boo, Boo from 134 and God Bro. So it's a nickname.
That's what been around for a while. So let me ask you a question, because people want this going to be widespread at this point because of what happened last week. What made you want to do this now? Why now?
Just tired of 50 controlling the narrative. Tired of him controlling the narrative for so many years and lying. Like, just it's nothing else. We always say it's three sides of the truth, but the truth is, whatever the saying, how it goes. He's just a liar. He just lies. He manipulates. He spins. And I didn't realize that there are so many impressionable, weak people that they see his character. He shows his character all day and night on his Instagram, and they believe what he happens to say about someone just because you like some of his songs and you feel like he's successful. I don't understand it.
Is there any financial?
One thing about that I want to say is that Couture Bay has always, shout out to Couture Bay. I hope she's doing all right. Couture Bay has always been on 50 Cent neck when it comes to him, trolling Diddy, talking about Diddy, because she's all like, let us not forget, you got a past and you got a history too. And we're seeing this right here. Like, 50 Cent doing the whole surviving Diddy, but really, nigga, we need to be surviving you because you shady, just like, when it comes to people being rich, I'm not anti-rich or wealth, right? But I feel like once you amass a certain amount of money, you probably screwed over a lot of people and did a lot of dirty shit to acquire all that money. Like a cool 10 million, you probably was an honest person. I'm not going to lie and play you. But when it started to come in like the 100, 500 billion, all that, yeah, you probably done screwed some people over. That's just my assumption, y'all. Hit that like button. I appreciate y'all being here, and I see all of y'all in the chat. Thank you. And thank you, son. Yeah, sometimes I gotta bust out the tank top.
To gain from 50 Cent at this point, from him to you? Because people may say you still want money. There was a viral clip about Marquise with child support at 27. Can we touch on that real quick?
All lies. He paid child support. My child support declaration was until Marquise was 21. He hasn't paid child support in like 8 years.
So the video with him saying about paying the money, what was it, Choke No Joke? I think something like that. The video, the guy that did the interview with Marquise, that was the old video basically.
Say that again. Could you repeat that, please?
Got a little background noise. I said that. Remember the video with Marquise that came out? He was talking about he wanted child support at 26 years old. I think he did an interview with Choke No Joke or something like that. Was that an old interview?
Which was untrue. Marquise was stating that we jumped out of a burning house without pajamas on. We lost everything. He was saying to Choke, I would like to call him a different name, but I'm not.
They got
saying to him that I had to start my life over with nothing but $6,700. And to the average person, I guess that's a lot. And I get that because that's not the average child support. But average child support goes to average people. Marquis' father is not the average person, so he's not going to receive the average child support. His life is not the average life. Like, and it's not about just wanting materialistic things and saying that it's not the average life. Being with his dad and all the drama and chaos that comes with it.
So she gets into it a little bit later, but I just want to interject here. So don't forget, the house burned down. So what she's talking about is like, I got only 6,700, but the house burned down and literally she had to start over again. So 6,700, yeah, that's a lot for the average person, but for her to start her life over and who her son is, like, you just want us to go back to the hood, back to the product, like, nah, like, we have to live a certain kind of lifestyle and, to get back what I had. Now, I will say this. 50 has always said that the reason why he doesn't get along with his baby mama and his son is because they're very resentful and entitled, and they feel like they should have the money that he has and all that stuff. Now, do I think they should be eating filet mignon every night? No, I don't think that. But I do think when it comes to like education, one thing, and this is just an example, like her son can't just go to regular school. He has to go to some kind of private school because of who his dad is. He just can't go to some regular public school. So you got to think about it that way. It's not just about wanting to live like this high class life. Like celebrity children, they have to be, go to some kind of private school. They have to be protected, So just think about that. But she gets into it a little bit later, but I just kind of wanted to interject there.
He's supposed to be well fed, organically fed, well tutored, behind someone's gated community, security. Like, that's what it is. Like, at one point, when the Murder Inc. trial was going on, Chris Lighty suggested that we homeschool Marquis for security purposes.
Did y'all get threats?
No, not that I know of, but just.
And don't forget, Chris Lighty was the one that was the manager to Busta Rhymes, so many different people. And that was the situation that they had brought up in court when Capricorn said Chris Lighty got her a job with somebody, but then the next day he unalived himself. And there's still some speculation. Did he really unalive himself, or did he have something to do with it?
For security purposes, like, oh, well, he should be homeschooled. We homeschooled. Marquis was homeschooled. So now that I decided I don't want to be with you, you just say, oh, that's it. You just throw us to the wolves.
Well, let me ask you, because people say we're going to touch on a few things because the home burning. We'll get to that in a second. Why didn't you want to be with him? At this point, he's a famous rapper. Gino is clicking. He's a sex symbol in a sense because he's in great shape. Why wouldn't you want to be with somebody at that point in his career?
Because he was abusive. Well, he still is abusive. I'm just not in his presence, but he's abusive. Emotionally, physically, he's abusive. And the last straw for me was he hit me in front of my daughter. And I said, as a mother, if I allow her to see him hit me and stay with him, what example am I setting for my daughter? And that's when that was it for me. It was that
right.
And another incident with Marquis. So it was two incidents, but it was kind of close. And there was another incident with Marquis, Yayo and Banks used to have an apartment they used to share in Manhattan. And I went to pick 50 up from there. So Marquis told me that I guess like he had a girl there, like, a girl that, he just told me something. So him and I got into an argument. He beat the mess out of me and then told Marquis, see, it's your fault. I had to whoop your mother's ass.
Oh,
those were the two incidents for me that I said, no, it's time to go.
So here we go with the abuse, you guys. She always said that she suffered abuse at the hands of 50. So it happened 2 times. One when she was pregnant, and then one time when in front of Marquis and was all like, see, I had to beat your mother. Wow. Very Diddy-like. That's why I said we're going to have a surviving 50 Cent in a minute. Wow.
So the abuse was there. Okay. About what year was that? You remember?
I left him in about maybe 2007, 2008, around that year, about the time.
So basically, it was from you to Sierra, then to the most recent.
He definitely had different holes in different areas. Because let's say if Marquis was with him, he had a different woman with him. But like that's not none of my business. But Sierra was like the his main girlfriend at the time, which Marquise like really, really liked him. Like he always had. And by the way, it's so crazy. Marquise always expressed how much he liked Ciara. But when he met Daphne, I never forget, we were visiting New York, and his dad and Daphne was staying at his grandparents' house, and I was staying at my grandmother's house. So, you know, he took Marquise over to his grandparents' house, you know, whatever, little visit or whatever. And Marquise came back and he looked at me and he said, Mommy, she's not for my father. And I said, well, why don't you tell you that? Tell him that he's not. She's like, she's just. I said, well, what is she nice to you or did she disrespect me? He's like, she didn't do anything to me. She said, she's just not for my father. And that's what's so crazy. Like he didn't like her from the jump, but like I said, adored Ciara, but didn't like her. I don't want to say he didn't like her. He just said that whatever he sensed, I don't know if it was like a discernment. He just said that she just was that.
You know, that's interesting how he said that he didn't like Daphne. And let's be honest about Daphne. Daphne looks like the kind of girl who looks for opportunities. Daphne looks like the kind of girl that looks for opportunities. And so she's seen an opportunity with 50 Cent and she's seen other opportunities. I'm trying not to say too much because, you know, she's supposed to be private or whatever, right? But yeah, she looks like the kind of girl that looks for opportunities. Y'all read between the lines, damn it.
Now, I got a quick question before we get to the home burning situation, which is kind of deep. That wasn't the first time that he abused you, was it?
No, but when it filters out in front of the children, like no, like the first time he ever hit me, to be honest, was I don't even talk about this. This is a lot of cathartic moments and stuff, but the first time I don't even think I told you this. I think the first time he hit, and I don't think I know the first time he hit me, I was pregnant with Marquise. Belly out to here.
Well, let me ask you. So Marquise, I'm pregnant with Marquise, so sitting 12 years. What makes a female stay when she's getting abused?
I won't say what
Trigger
makes
warning.
a female stay. I can say what made me stay. And
but that's a better question. I'm just because we're talking to the 600 people. So I just want because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's the money, it's the money, it's the money."
Oh, but he didn't have any money then. Like
Thank you, Lady Letitia, for the super chat. I appreciate that.
I was taking care of him. He didn't have any money then. He didn't. That I was pregnant with Marquise in '96. He didn't become 50 Cent until 2003. 2003, yeah, 2003. I think give us trying to come out in 2003, 2003. So he didn't have any money. He wasn't this big drug dealer that he tries to claim to be. First of all, he never was a big drug dealer. He was always a corner boy. Let's get that straight.
Damn.
Anybody from Jamaica, Queens, Southside Jamaica, Queens, Boo was known for his hands, and he was a corner boy. He may have like little yales and that under him, but he was always a corner boy. He was no big time drug dealer, and he wasn't that. And not discredit him, but I just say he was known for fighting. He was good with his hands, but he was never no big time drug dealer. He had a nice when I got with him. He had a Land Cruiser, and then he got the big Benz, and I guess maybe that gave the facade that he was this big time guy. But everybody from the neighborhood used to look like you talking to him like he wasn't that guy. Well, he was not.
Right. So
the way she kind of just shut down that whole fantasy because yeah, you know, he was saying he was pushing weight and you know he was this big time drug dealer, and she's like, nah, that wasn't him at all. Nah.
Some of the things that the chat wants to know is how many times did he get shot? Some say 5, 9, 10, 11. Who knows? Did you know they asked you what it was? How many times he got shot?
Absolutely, I know because I was there. I was there with him in the hospital for weeks to the point where once he was not in his induced coma. Once he saw I was there, he did not let me leave his side. But he was shot 5 times. 5 times. Once in the jaw, the arm, the hip, and everything else was like little like flesh wound, but 5 times. It was not 9. He said he came up with 5. His reasoning to me why he said he came up with 5 was because Tupac got shot 9 times. 5 times. He said Tupac got shot 5 times, so he wanted to sensationalize it because he didn't want to be compared to Tupac. He wanted to make it bigger than what Tupac was.
Wow.
He got shot 5 times. That's a fact.
So you know, 50 Cent kind of built his. Listen, getting popped one time is a big deal. Trust me. Even getting grazed by a bullet, I heard it hurts still, right? But he built his image off of saying he got shot 9 times, but really it was 5. Like, why would you? And yeah, the comparison to Tupac, but that's not a bad thing. That's not bad. Come on now, 50. Like, you lying like that?
I was
And you was
there.
there.
I was in constant communication with the doctors. I was his next of kin. He got shot 5 times.
And you was there.
No, I don't think
you
that's
there.
no.
When he got shot or in the hospital.
Well, both in the shot.
I was there in front of the house when he got shot. Like I said, his grandmother was in the yard planting flowers. Marquise and I had walked him to the. I can't explain the house. Well, I kind of could, but the house had a porch, so you was still like an outside porch. So Marquise and I was standing in the outside porch. JU came and spoke. If you hear even JU's interviews, which by the way, coming soon, I have so much footage with God. Recipes JU. I got so much footage with JU, and that's going to definitely come out soon. Yeah, we were there. Marquise and I were there. We were there. And he never placed me there. Like I said, like to control the narrative. He never placed me there. But Marquise and I were there. We were there. Me, Marquise's grandmother, and JU. And JU girlfriend was in the car. His girlfriend at the time was in the car.
Just go back in time, of course. How old was Marquise when he got shot?
He was 3 years. He was about 3 going on 4.
And let's get to the house burning now, because there's a lot of speculation, a lot of stories about the house getting burnt down. You want to recap on that? You want Marquise to come in? I think Marquise is in the chat as well.
I think he wants to. Yeah. One of the.
So remember, years ago, she claimed that 50 Cent tried to get the house burned down and try to kill her and her kids. So that just kind of sets the precedence to this story. Let's go.
Let me ask you this way: what makes you say he did it though?
We got into a fight that Monday at my lawyer's office. I have a police report. He threatened me. He tried to hit me, but I ran. He threatened me. He said he was going to have someone come do something. He said, and watch how I get down. He said it. And that Friday, but that was Monday. That Friday, I had to do my deposition. I was taking my piece to school. A Magnum car was following me. I don't know if you remember the Dodge Magnums, and everybody knew back then all of G-Unit members rode Dodge Magnums. Was following me to Marquise's school. I ditched the car, drove to Queens and drove to my grandma's house. Mia was already in school. I get to the courthouse. I do my deposition. I come back outside. It was a guy following me, trying to intimidate me to the point where my lawyer was so worried that she would just please be careful. So he was trying to kick me out the house, and he couldn't get me out the house. And that's another thing where he says, like, oh, he went to Suffolk County. They gave me an eviction, but I took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court allowed me to stay, so he couldn't get me out the house at the time. And then his lawyer, and I have in my deposition papers, which once I started doing my YouTube channel, I could be able to side by side and bring up stuff. His lawyer actually asked me where was my evidence, and that was the first part of the house to burn down. I don't think that was a coincidence.
Right. Who was on the house at the time when it got set on fire?
It was. That's another thing. He tried to create the narrative. It was me, my boyfriend. No man lived with me in that house. And I will repeat, no man lived with me in that house. No man, except for Marquise, and he wasn't a man at the time. He was a child. It was me, my daughter, Marquise, a family friend, and she had gotten into an argument with her husband. So it was her and her son, and my youngest sister. My mom had passed away, so I had custody of my youngest sister.
Now, I want to say this real quick, because even though it's a different situation, but remember Diddy had somebody burn Kid Cudi's car, and now we're hearing that she is alleging that 50 Cent had the house burned down. So it's funny how they have other people doing things for them. So again, the parallels between the two. And I'm not saying that 50 Cent is dealing with racketeering and all that, but as far as, yeah, these men in this industry and how they get down and what they like to do and how predatory they are, it makes sense, right? All right, let's continue.
What was on your children?
Well, he's probably about 12. Mia probably about maybe 16, 17.
So those are minors. We had 2 minors, teenager, 3 minors. What's 4 minors? Minimum.
It
Okay.
was the minors was Marquise, my daughter, my youngest sister, and yeah, I'm not gonna say his name, but yeah, it was 4 minors.
Do you think it was a move to try to scare you or try to get rid of you? What do you deep down? Like, what do you think the motive was behind to really get rid of you or to scare you out of the house? Honestly speaking,
I think it was to kill us because the time it wasn't like it happened when the kids were in school. Maybe I was there by myself, or it happened that I was just sleeping. No one's up. It was still dark outside to the point where when I heard the glass shatter, because what happened was Marquise was sick that day. Even though I was going to take him to school, like I said, the car was following me, but he was sick. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to ditch this car. I don't feel safe taking him to school, but I'm going to take him to my grandma's house. So Marquise was sick that day. I could not sleep. And that's why I said, I don't want to get all holy roll on everybody, but that's when I say, if you don't know God is real, I feel sorry for you. Because I could not sleep. At the time, I was sleeping downstairs in the guest room. Everyone else was upstairs. I waited. Like I said, a close family friend, her husband, and they got into an argument. So I waited for her. I slept on the couch in the family room. I brought her in the house, set her upstairs, and I stayed in the guest room downstairs. I could not sleep. I kept waking up. And so I said, you know what? I said, Marquise, I said, let me go check on him because Marquise had a habit of throwing up in his sleep. So I said, you know what? Let me check on him. I'm just going to just check on him. And I ended up getting in the bed with him. But so let me just see because he was kept coughing. So I was like, you know what? I get scared he's going to throw up in his sleep, and choke. Marquise's coughing kept me from being in a deep sleep, but I still was concerned about what was going on. Like I said, people were following. They were at the courthouse, so I was concerned. But I couldn't quite get into a deep sleep. So Marquise's bedroom was in front of the house. So once I heard the glass shatter, I went to the front of the house and it was pitch dark. I couldn't see anything. So just in that second, I came from Marquise's room to the top of the stairs. I went down maybe 3 steps and the flames just shot up to the ceiling. It was just, we couldn't even make it downstairs.
So you're the first person that's seen the fire. What I'm getting from this, right? So
I heard the glass shatter. So my daughter said, so she said she thought I broke something because all she heard was me cursing. But for some reason, I was so enraged. I was like, this motherfucker. This motherfucker sent somebody to burn the house down. So my daughter said she just heard glass and me cursing. So she just assumed that I dropped the glass or something. And I just kicked into action. I just got everybody out their rooms. We had like a little bonus room upstairs, like we had like a couch and a television and stuff. We couldn't go that way. So then we go to my sister's bedroom. So my sister's bedroom had like a little awning, like where the backyard and the pool was. So I kicked out the screen so we could jump down to the awning to jump out. So I saw a man there. So I got a little hesitant. I was like, oh my gosh, what if he's coming to finish us off? And it happened to an off-duty police officer.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so he was already on the phone with 911. He said so later on I found out he saw the smoke and he was going to get his daughter from, like, I think he said she was at a hotel. You know how they have prom parties at a hotel? And he said the highway, whichever way he takes, it didn't take him that way. He saw the smoke, came up the driveway, and saved our lives.
Wow, that is crazy, y'all. Wild.
Saved our lives.
Y'all got out from the downstairs or the upstairs? From upstairs?
We couldn't make it downstairs. I said, like, I got to the 4th step and the flames engulfed, like it just shot, like literally it looked like a movie. Like I can't explain, like it just like it just went from the floor to the ceiling. So we couldn't make it downstairs.
So what did you do? You jumped out the windows?
Yeah, we jumped out the window. My sister, where her bedroom was towards the back of the house. So she had an awning like from the sliding door. So we jumped down from her window to the awning to the floor. But the off-duty police officer was there to break our fall. But I have a report that he threatened me. I have all of that. Yeah. I never changed my story. From the 911 call, the man asked me who did it to me. I said, my story never changed. It never changed. It never
Did
changed.
You speak to him after that?
Who?
50 Cent.
No, not after. Then we're in court for child support at this time, in custody. So no, he said out his press statement, I hope everyone's okay. Then he calls Marquise like days later, but then I hear him questioning him. And so I got on the phone and
So I want to clarify something. Shaniqua has talked about this situation before. I mean, they even went through litigation too, as well. Like she has been talking. Like if you go back, and maybe not in this video because I don't want to make it super long, but in a new video, we'll go back and watch one of her old interviews and see if her story matches. But she's been telling her story. Like it's not just. Well, let me say this. Yes, she is talking now and saying everything, but as far as like the house and all that, everybody kind of knows the history of her and 50 Cent. Now she's just going into detail, and I think she's probably just tired of all the trolling that 50 do, and so now she's just gonna let it all out. She's like, F it, why not?
And I was like, what are you asking me these questions? But he's questioning like, where you at? Like, and I'm just like, at this point, like, you don't need to know. Like, it's safety. He said, shut the fuck up, bitch. And he started cursing at me or whatever, and I hung up the phone. So I think Chris Lighty had got in contact with me. He wanted to give Marquise. I was like, he wanted to give Marquise his own phone so he could talk to his dad.
So notice Chris Lighty is coming up again. So it seemed like Chris Lighty was the person who was like the liaison between her and 50 and like was able to try to communicate and like calm things. So that's interesting.
And a box full of big clothes, like maybe like about 4 pants and about 6 shirts. Like that's what his father gave him, a telephone and 4 pants and 6 shirts.
Oh, so Marquise was still talking to his father at that time.
Well, no one had phones. Like after I ended up getting a phone because no one, like I didn't, it's the fire. I think my daughter was the only one who grabbed her phone because I didn't even have a phone. Like I was in my pajamas, like literally, not to be so graphic or vivid. Like I didn't have any underwear. Like I had on like it was a little juicy cover up. It was terry cloth, and I would wear it as pajamas. I didn't even have on underwear, shoes, nothing. I didn't have a phone. So we were coughing. So we all were coughing. So the paramedics told us that we probably have like smoke inhalation. They took us to the hospital. I have a good friend. She came and brought us some clothes, and yeah,
I gotta ask you a question. There's people that say, "Well, y'all wasn't together, right, when it happened, right?"
Yeah, I had just left him. Maybe not. We weren't even broke up for a year at that time. I don't think it was not even a year. No.
So people want to ask, man, in the chat, probably gonna say, "Well, why'd you stay at his house if y'all was broken up? Or was it a house that he bought for you?"
It was a house that he brought for me. So if I'm his son's primary caretaker, which by the way, when people always try to say, "Oh, you brainwashed him, you this, you that," the man has plenty of money at that time. We have a custody agreement. He signed over all his rights voluntarily. So the court gave Marquise his own separate attorney. He signed over all his rights voluntarily. Like, say if I wish I would have had the agreement out. If I was thinking I would have it next time, I'll have everything so I could read it verbatim. Like if Marquise was on a life support system, it's I would consult with his father, but I made the final decision and everything with Marquise, where he lived, where he goes to school. The only thing he asked was I couldn't change his surname, which is his last name, and if I moved.
So it's crazy how basically we learning that he signed over his rights. I remember hearing something about that, but I wasn't sure if that was true or not. But it makes sense. Like, why would you ever give up like your rights to your child? Like, that's weird to me. Very weird. And Iris, to answer your question, the reason why I don't do like daily coverage, like I will do like a wrap up, but I won't do like daily coverage on the Diddy trial, is because hearing that freaky nasty shit every day, it's a lot. I would just be, hold on, let me put me on the screen. I'm gonna just be so real with you. Hearing all that freaky nasty shit, it's a lot. Like I have to do like an in review of the Diddy stuff because it just be like so much. Unless it's like something like really huge, I'll talk about it then when it happens. But all the freak offs and everything. Listen, I never want to have sex again. Let me just say that. All right, let's continue. At least not no freaky nasty sex.
Or went out of a certain proximity, he would have to know. But he had every other weekend. I didn't trust him, so I would have him meet me at the precinct. He had every other weekend and every other holiday to the point where he didn't keep up with his visitations. I was able to move to Georgia and he didn't even know because he wasn't keeping up with his visitation. Not that I was keeping it from him. I was able to move to another state and he did not know because he wasn't keeping up with his visitation.
Now, do you think because he didn't want to, or he just was busy being the entertainer artist?
No, I
What
think
how should I say?
he didn't want to because it's nothing that you're gonna be so busy to see your child. Like I don't care. Like don't get me wrong, he's a busy artist, but when I was with him, he made time and he saw Marquise all the time. Well, we lived together, but you know he's traveling. It's a lot, but you saw him then, so I don't understand like why that we're not together. You can't see him, and that's what he would do in the course. And sometimes the judge would check him. He was like, "Oh, well, he always wanted to come to my house to see him," and I'm like, "No." So the judge was like, "Well, you could go get him and take him to the park or take him to your grandmother's house in Long Island. Why do you have to sit with Miss Tompkins to see him?" He then after the fight, I got a new number. He tried to get the course to make me give him his number. I said no. Marquise has his own phone. It's no.
So to me, it does seem like that stereotypical relationship where he wanted to find an excuse to be around her, and so he wanted to use the son. When she cut off that communication, this is why she always say like, "I didn't want him," and he kept trying to pressure me to be with him. But in turn, he used the son as a tool to try to get close. But when she rejected him, he was like, "Oh, well, fuck you and the son," basically.
Need for you to talk to me.
I think it was all about you. Let me ask you a question, right? Do you think he wanted? Let's say this. Do you think he loved you more than he loved his child?
Well, he told my sister that. So my middle sister was living with us in Pennsylvania. She wasn't getting along.
I want to clarify something real quick about the whole freak off thing. So it's not about having nasty raunchy sex. It's about the drugs, the trafficking, the forcing people, coercion, prostitution. That the illegal stuff is what's wrong with it. Having sex with a whole bunch of different people, that's not illegal. It's the prostitution, the drugs, all that. That's the crime. But again, the reasoning for me not wanting to do it is because like it's hard to not talk about the freaky nasty shit because that's a lot of what they put in the forefront and not the actual. And I think this is why so many people are turned off by the Diddy case is because it just seemed like a lot of nasty stuff and not the actual crimes being presented. You have to shift through all the BS to get to the actual meat and potatoes of what the crimes are. And it's not simplified for the public.
Well, not even say she wasn't getting along with my stepfather. My stepfather was very mean to my middle sister, but that's another story. So I went and got my middle sister and I brought her to live with us.
He's a horrible interviewer. Yes,
I'm always
agree.
gonna keep it all the way G. I'm gonna keep it all the way official. Boo Boo even helped me with my sister. Like he would take her to school while I would go to work. We always worked good as a team together. And my sister said one day he was taking her to school,
right?
And they were talking about my sister's situation with my stepfather, and he was saying that he was expressing to my sister, if that were me, like if I would have put my hands on Mia, which is my daughter. He was like, your sister I would have been out of it. Like he's like she wouldn't play all of that. So that's what he was expressing to my sister. And my sister said he did and looked at her and said, but I love your sister more than I love dumb kids. And that's what he said to my sister. I love your sister more than I love them kids. And he always used to get upset with me because he felt like I poured too much in my children. Or I paid them too much attention. Like he would come home sometimes. Marquise is like, say, like,
not jealous of the kids.
Laying down watching TV, and he would come in and say, "Get out of my bed watching my TV with my woman." I'm his mother, and he's a little kid. Like I'm his mother, and he's a little kid. But that was his mentality. But we were very close. Like we were. I mean, old times weren't bad. We were very close. We were very, very close. We were very, very, very close. And even me leaving him wasn't the easiest decision. Like that was not easy. That wasn't easy. That wasn't easy. Like when you love someone and care for someone to that magnitude, that wasn't easy. To break up my family unit, that wasn't easy. But I know I deserve better. But I still will put myself in my back pocket for my children. My children didn't deserve to see them.
R. Jackson, I can't put up your comment because you used the F word, but yeah, no cussing in the chat because I can't put those comments up. But just because he was hitting the baddest women don't mean anything. Sometimes you want what you want. And remember, this is somebody he's been with before he was famous, before he was 50. This is somebody who he was with in the beginning. So that overrides any of the baddest chicks that he could ever get. Let's be honest about that. Because in middle school, I even had a crush on this girl who was cross-sided. You couldn't tell me nothing. Sometime her eye, never mind. Let me not even.
Your mother being mistreated to the point where now that my daughter's older, I always talk to my children, but it's like she's sharing more emotions. She's sharing more emotions with me. Now that she's getting older and saying how like that kind of affected her.
So we got a lot to talk about. You know, we're gonna limit this.
Yeah, it's gonna limit this. I thought we were gonna get into the Daphne Joy.
No, but the thing is, we don't want to. I get it. Has it been an hour yet?
I don't know. I'm not timing it. I don't know. I thought that's what we was getting into. That was an interesting story to say how that came about.
Yeah, I know we want to get into that.
Y'all,
a lot of comments.
I would love to know. Y'all gonna know why 50 really is mad at Diddy, and it's not what y'all think it is.
Yeah, it's a whole story behind it.
It's a whole story behind it, and it's not over. Lady Boy, it's not.
So I'm gonna ask one question.
She said, "Lady Boy."
We'll do that on the next Diddy situation.
Okay.
Somebody wants to know in the chat, did he? Because you put up the post on your story about Daphne saying that he sexually abused her.
Yeah.
Did you ever experience anything like that? Or was it just basically physical stuff?
Here we go.
Back and forth?
I have experienced sexual abuse. Yes. Which, when it sounds odd for women, because it's like it was no Me Too movement. From our culture, it's like, how could your boyfriend rape you or sexually assault you? Because no means no. No means no. I don't care if you get a girl butt naked and she says no, that means no. So
here we go.
I have. I don't know within me. I don't know if it's this Black girl strength that for some reason it's easier to talk about that the physical part of the abuse. That's easier for some reason to talk about the sexual. I don't know why, and that's something I have to probably work through and maybe just try to like understand. But yeah.
Well, why you never reported it though? People may want to ask, well, you got sexually abuse, you got physical abuse. Why you never said that?
I didn't say something. I've always said something. If anybody ever listened, I have court testimony where I'm saying he's abusive. I have order of protections in the courts where I'm listing some of the abuse. So this is documented. Maybe IG world don't know. Maybe the fans don't know, but no, it's documented. People who work with him has witnessed it. It's documented.
All right. Well, let me ask you a question. It's up to you now. If you want to go into the Daphne Diddy with the host, you want to do it now? You want to do it on your next live? What you want to do? It's up to you.
I don't know.
They're telling the interviewer to ask certain questions, but these are the things that we know no one knew in detail. Because some people say they knew, some people didn't know. I mean, it's almost 750 people here. But now the Daphne stuff is the new stuff, right?
Yeah, that's the new stuff. I mean, that's
I have the inside on that. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
You want to go there? You want to save it for the next live? It's up to you. Your call.
I don't know.
I don't want them to get at me like I'm holding back shit, but it's on you.
What are you thinking?
Well, if we want to continue to do these lives, we can spin the block tomorrow and really build it up.
Thank you, Nene, for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you.
See, drop the T, bro. Ask the question, bro. Yo, listen, ask the question.
Well, I'm just gonna put it this way. Okay, we're gonna probably spend up. Not probably like that. Right. We're definitely gonna spend a block on that. But it's just not what y'all think it is. It's not. It's
really not.
It's not like. Just put it this way. Puffy was the first one to sleep with someone's baby mother, and we could leave it at that. Puffy wasn't the first to sleep with someone's baby mother.
Here we go, y'all.
Like it's your choice.
Guess we can leave it at that. And this happened while I was with him, so I was there, so I know this for a fact.
Right. Why? Well, if you want to end this kind of way, you want to say something to the people. Everybody came on and hear your story. Now you got a whole lot to talk about on the next one, because the next one will be a little crazy.
So stay tuned. And I'm so sorry about the tardiness, but it wasn't a tardiness. It was like the powers that be tried to get me not to do this live, but we're going to keep going, keep the momentum.
So I want to say something about this. So I caught this like in the middle of the live. What ended up happening was that she was supposed to go live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. my time, right? I'm on the West Coast. And I was looking for the live, and like it didn't start until an hour and a half later. And then by the time I got in there, they're already halfway finished. I was like, damn. I was pissed off that I wasn't there from the beginning. But luckily, she saved the live. Usually, sometimes these people go live and they won't save it because on IG, it gives you the option to save it or not. Luckily, she saved it. So I was able to go back in there and watch the whole thing. But yeah, so this makes sense what she's saying. Basically, they try to stop it. Now, possibly he could have contacted some people at Meta, or he was trying to contact lawyers and say she can't speak, because she also referenced like there's some kind of gag order that she has where she couldn't speak, but she said there's an expiration date. She'll allude to it. Don't worry. Here we go.
Momentum. Yeah, and it's just a lot to talk about. Because I had so many points that I wanted to talk about. Because I wanted to talk about the post that 50 put up today threatening my son, and I'm gonna get into that too. But no, it wasn't. And I'm gonna tell you. Somebody said Kim Porter. ... It wasn't Kim Porter. It wasn't her.
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't Kim Porter.
Definitely wasn't Kim Porter. All right.
No.
Well, if that's how you want to end it, we can go from there.
Yeah. So we'll definitely spin the block. I'm definitely gonna be. This is you guys are gonna hear the unfiltered truth. No more letting someone control the narrative. No one. Yeah. This is.
Oh.
We hear.
I do want to ask you a question first, because this was something that a lot of people was rumored. Excuse my bad. There was rumored about the NDA that 50 silenced you from being on TV shows, from talking, doing interviews. What was the situation with the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement? What happened?
I don't have a non-disclosure agreement. What it is, it's a fictional. It's a contract for a book and life rights that he is showing everyone, which we all know a contract has a beginning and an ending date. So that's going to definitely have to be worked out legally, because he's preventing me from making a living. But that's what narcissists do. They will talk about you, saying that you want money from them, but they will put you in a trick bag so you can depend on them. Like 48 laws of power says, always let them depend on you for their happiness. But
yeah, so when people want to do movies or books or whatever about your life, you sign away your rights. And so at the time, she basically signed her life story away to him. So he's able to say and do whatever, but she can't tell her side of the story, even though she has been talking, but she can't profit off of it, like make a book or a movie about it. But she said everything has an expiration date and need to be worked out with the lawyer. So I hope now that she's speaking, she did talk to a lawyer about, speaking her truth, because if she didn't talk to a lawyer, then we might not be getting any more of these videos. But hey, at least we got this tea, right? And once you put it on the internet, it's there forever.
Luckily for Shaniqua Tompkins, I believe in God, and I don't depend on 50 Cent for my happiness.
All right. Well, we can let it go on that. You want to say something to the people, man? Everybody tuned in here.
Thank you for everyone for joining me. Because I'm a very private person. I'm a Virgo, so if you know anything about the zodiac signs, you know. But yeah, I'm going to take control.
I'm going to log off so you can have the first to yourself.
Thank you so much.
All right, Nico. Okay. Babe. Talk to you later.
All right. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, and thank you. I just want to say thank you.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy. All right. Oh, why did I? Dang, I gotta edit that part out. It restarted basically again from the beginning. Yeah. Only I would do that. That's a horrible edit right there. And I swore I checked this too. All right. Anyway, let me shut up about my editing. All right. So there you have it, you guys. Like, this is her story. This is what she's saying. I'm still trying to confirm. Let me see. Because I left a comment to ask if she was going live again today. Because we're gonna be there, definitely trying to look. Let me see. Dang, she reposted something, but no, we want to know if you're going live again, lady. Let's see. Let's see. Interviews. Dang, she's commenting back to people, but she's not saying like, "Hey, I'm going live again today at this time." Hopefully, she announced something because definitely I want to hear everything she got to say. I'm gonna be there just waiting, just looking. You know, I'm not on IG. Did 50 respond? Um, that's a good one. Let me see if 50 responded. Let's see. If he did, I'll share it on my screen with you guys. 50 respond. Shit, hopefully I didn't get blocked. No, he has not responded. Yeah, his last post was a day ago. Even on his story, he didn't respond. So, hey. And 50 Cent is never quiet. Even when somebody does, say something about him, he's never quiet. So it's interesting. I want to know what he has to say. Or is he just going to take it legal? You know how he'll do. Is he just going to take it legal, or is he going to clap back at her? Because he's pretty obsessed with Daphne. Wait, what did Yanni say? Hold on. He was charged with domestic violence against that. Yeah, that's the situation that and thank you. That's the situation she was talking about with Daphne, where she was contacted about testifying against him. That 2013 situation. Yeah. What's up, Miss Barbara? How you doing? I said 50 Day was coming. Look, yeah. And here's the thing: 50 has been able to rebrand himself as like this internet troll that we all love and we laugh at, but knowing that he has a past and a history that he tries to avoid all the time lets you know, like, yeah, he's not a good person either. He can drag everybody else, but he won't talk about his own shit. I mean, granted, do we talk about the bad things about ourselves? No. But again, we're not producing documentaries and shit on people. And you have to ask yourself, like, okay, what attracted you to Daphne where other famous people wanted her too? Like, was she an industry girl that everybody just wanted to run through? Like, and I hate to put it like that, but it makes you think about that. Because now knowing that Shaniqua was all like, yeah, their beef or their issue, it wasn't really over Daphne, it was something else. And she teased like she was going to tell more. So, like I said, that's why I'm trying to be on the lookout of when she's going to go live again. Because, hey, if you're going to put it out there, put the whole thing out there. I hate when these people be all like, yeah, I'm going to expose this person, and then they don't ever say anything. So, hopefully she gives it all. But again, back to 50, like, you're basically Diddy-esque. I don't want to say you're just like him, but essentially, yeah. You allegedly had her house burned down. You abused her, sexually abused her, physically. Very resentful towards her. And how great of a father were you that you don't even claim your own son and you just talk trash about him? Like, no matter what with that situation with 50 and his son, yeah, there's always two sides to the story. But I feel like if the parent doesn't get along with their child, or there's some kind of tension between the child and the parent, I always look at the parent, because it's all like, you're the adult in the situation. No matter if his son is ungrateful and all this other stuff that he want to say, granted, at the end of the day, you are the father. Like, and the son looks just like him. It's hard to deny that's your child when he looks just like you. Y'all, it's crazy. Yeah, he's the father. Yeah. So I just found all that interesting. I was all like, yeah, I can definitely see what she's saying is true. Like, well, let me ask you guys before we get out of here. Do you believe Shaniqua's story? Yes or no? 30 seconds. And thank you, EH. That's what I wanted to say about the Daphne situation. I don't think he actually wants custody of that boy at all. He just wants to hurt Daphne and probably not pay child support. He don't want to give her any money. He don't want to pay her any child support. And he just wants to basically hurt Daphne. He doesn't give a damn. Because if he was willing to sign over his rights and everything for his first son, he don't want his second son either. Like, let's just be honest about it, you know? Everybody said, yeah, they believe her story. Crazy. Yeah, there's definitely something more to that. But anyway, you guys, we're going to go get the heck up out of here. I appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But we out of here. Deuces, everybody. We out.